Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to discuss the Shemona Esrei. I want to specifically the first bracha of Shemona Esrei, which is the Berachas Avos, which is the first bracha of Shemona Esrei, and specifically I want to address why the end of the bracha is Magen Avraham. We know the Chasim of the bracha generally tells us the theme of the entire bracha. So I wanted to discuss specifically why we say Magen Avraham in the first bracha of Shemona Esrei. This needs a little bit of clarification. Why the Avos and why specifically Avraham Avinu? So, in order to explain the special emphasis of Avraham Avinu specifically from all the Avos, we have to go back to try to understand what the term Magen Avraham even means. So we have to go back to the story of Avraham Avinu with the fighting the kings, and immediately after Avraham Avinu defeats the 4 kings and he returns light from captivity, after he meets Malki Tzedek, Hashem tells him, Al tira Avraham, Anochi Magen lecha, scharcha harbe ma'ai. Don't fear Avraham, I'll be your shield. That's the Magen. Hashem is now the Magen Avraham, and your reward will be very great. Hashem declares himself now the Magen Avraham, the shield of Avraham. So the question is, what was Avraham afraid of, and why does Hashem have to reassure him here? So the Medrash asks this question and gives 3 different explanations. One is that Avraham said he was nervous, and he said maybe one of the God-fearing men among those who I killed, maybe there was someone that should not have been killed, and I killed them. The Medrash gives a second explanation that both of these are from Reb Levi, that Avram was nervous that maybe the sons of the kings who he killed are going to gather some troops and then they're going to come wage war and fight back against Avraham. And the Chachamim say in this Medrash that Avram was nervous, and he said, if I went into the Kivshana Eish already and I was saved, and I did the Milchama with the kings and I was saved, and maybe I already used up all my schar for Olam Haba and I'm going to have nothing left. So this needs a little bit of explanation here, because until this point we never find that Avraham Avinu being nervous or anxious. He saw the war, he saw that he had to go to war with the 4 kings. He instinctively knew that it was the right thing to do, and he went ahead and he went to war. No anxiety, no nothing. But only afterwards, only after the victory, do we find that Avram now seems to be afraid or nervous. So the Medrash's response, like we just said, is that Avram's reaction is one of anxiety or nervousness, is padchos. So what does this mean? What does this mean exactly? This isn't fear that he's afraid of an enemy. It's almost like a lack of self-confidence in himself that we see. He's afraid that something's going to happen or that something's going to happen to him. So why? So really, Avram Avinu is really the first of the first. He's the very, very first. He doesn't have any tradition to stand on. He doesn't have any proofs. He has no father that he could go back to. He has no Messiah that he could go back to. Avram Avinu is really the father of monotheism in general, and Judaism in specific. So the Midrashim say time and again in Bereshis that Avraham Avinu always acted according to his own understanding. Only afterwards that he got confirmation from the Rebbeinu Shalom, but he always had to do everything on his own. At the end of the day, he had nothing to rely on for his decision making. He had no Messiah to go back to. He had no Torah to go back to. He had no father to go back to. He didn't even have Nevuah from the Rebbeinu Shalom to rely on. He just had to do everything. Now, so someone who lives by his own choice and by his own free conscience alone, and before everyone else, Avram is constantly the subject of uncertainty. His whole life is uncertainty, and therefore he is always nervous. Now, in response to this, Hashem tells him, Anochi Magen lecha, I'm going to be your shield. Magen Avram, the shield of Avram, is the shield who has nothing else to rely on except for the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what Hashem is saying. He has nothing. He has no Torah. He has no Messiah. All he has is the Rebbeinu Shalom. And Hashem says, okay, don't worry. Anochi Magen lecha. I'm going to be your shield. So now this is the same thing that we're saying now by Magen Avram. what we're telling the Rabbi Shalom in the first bracha of Shemona Esrei is we're putting ourselves in a position where we know ourselves, we have nothing to rely on except the Rabbi Shalom. We need you to be like the Magen Avram, just like you told Avraham Avinu. You said, you told Avraham Avinu, even though he had nothing to rely on, no Torah, no Messiah, no nothing, and you still said, Rabbi Shalom, you still told him, Anochi Magen Lecha. That's the position that we want to put ourselves in when we start Shemona Esrei. We tell the Rabbi Shalom, we need you to be like you were by the Magen Avram. Just like you shielded Avram when he had nothing else to rely on, that's how we are. We have nothing else. We have nothing that we can rely on. We have nothing to go back to. All we have is the Rabbeinu Shalom. So it's kind of like a reminder to the Rabbeinu Shalom Kaviyachal, or to put, better said, to put ourselves in the proper mindset to say Magen, that we want to be like that Magen Avram. We are telling the Rabbeinu Shalom we have nothing else to rely on. We have nothing to go back to except for you. Have a wonderful day.